Well, I'm joined by Grand Lake head coach Jeff Wainwright, our Week 8 Team of the Week. It's right there. We were talking about the graphics, but you guys have been playing some great football, most recently a 47-22 win over Merryville. Just talk about that game and what you've seen out of your team up to this point.
Yeah, Merryville had a great game plan from us. They controlled the clock most of the first half, and going into halftime, the game was tied, and our kids were able to make a few adjustments, and we had a great second half and got us into the position that we're in, to be the game of the week. A lot of outstanding performances, individuals. I'm watching the highlights, and just some outstanding individual, like I said, performances. But the whole team really played good. We had a touchdown for an interception, interception, touchdown, pick six. We had, several stops on defense that was crucial that the D-line made. So it was all of our parts. We had great kickoffs that put the ball deep in field position for them. And it made for a great night to kind of put everything that we've been working on for the whole season together in one half. And now the goal is to try to make these things start lasting for 4 quarters. And that just comes with maturity as the season goes on.
You talked about your defense there, and that's kind of been a common theme for you guys throughout the season. I know you didn't beat DeQuincy, me, but you only let up 10 points, and you guys, your defense this season has really stepped up for you guys and kept you in ball games.
Absolutely. Our defense is led by Wyatt Wilkerson, our middle linebacker, and man, he's done a good job this year holding our team together, and he does a lot during the game to make the calls and adjust the site adjustments that have to be made at the line of scrimmage. Just in general, the offenses get a lot of the glamour in just our whole industry, but the defenses that get those offenses to the championship games and into the trophy rooms, you got some really strong leaders, and we have one in Wyatt. We have several of them that are up there, and then our D-line has been improving the last couple of weeks. So, our defense has been improving, and when they able to set us up and get us to short fields, the offense has come through here in the last couple of weeks and put the ball in the end zone.
8 weeks in, you guys are 7 games in, 4-3. You're 2-1 in district. Mm-hmm. What would you say at this point? Obviously, we just talked about the defense, but what would you say are your strongest parts of your team?
I think the number one part of our team is our ability to go to work each Monday, erase the past, because we had a stretch where we lost 3 ball games, then we had a bye week, so it was a month down in Grand Lake where we hadn't won a football game, and that was tough on our kids to go to work every day. And at that point in time, we found out we had a really close football team. We had a team that was willing to grind to get to a goal. That goal is always to get to the playoffs for us, and then be it where we think we can compete for a state championship. I don't think you can sit there week 1 and say, hey, we're competing for a state championship, because you have to get to that tournament. We tend to break the season into 3 tournaments: the preseason tournament, the district championship tournament, and then the state championship tournament. And right now, we're learning from the mistakes that we made during our loss to Hamilton, and trying to improve on that each week as far as collectively as a football team, so that when we get to the state championship tournament, we have a chance to get our team and our community, a good long playoff run. And right now, we're doing that. We got 2 more really traditionally strong football teams ahead of us in Elton and Oberlin, and it's going to be a great end of the season for us because of the competition level that we're playing.
You mentioned it there, going into a game against Elton. What do you guys have to do this week to beat a good Indians team like you were talking about?
Coach Lejeune and those guys, listen, in 1994, I met Coach Lejeune. Marcus, he was coaching at Iota as the offensive coordinator, and his defensive coordinator now, Coach Leger, was the defensive coordinator there. And both those guys have treated me with such respect over my career, both as a player and now as a coach. And, I've actually sat down with Coach and talked offense with them, and they truly have my complete respect. And you can see in their football team that they've built in Elton that, it's great defense. You can see Coach Lejeune's fingerprints all over the offense with his power eye. I would put him as probably the number 1 power eye, wing eye offensive coach in the state of Louisiana. I would select him over anybody if that was my choice to run an offense. So we have a ton of respect. He's done a great job with their offense. They have 2 great ball carriers, the tailback and the power back, and They're staples in the offense, and it's going to be a tremendous challenge for us, you know. And we know that, you know, we're the underdog in this situation. They're ranked number 9 in the state, so a lot of that has our attention. But when it comes down to the ball game, you know, it's going to be which defense can stop which offense and those type things. So we hope that you know, at the end of the night, the ball bounces our way. But they're well coached, and you can tell Elton has always had a proud tradition of football in that town, and I'm excited for them too as well, because coaches went there and brought it back, and you know, they're going to make the playoffs, and you know, right now it looks like they're going to host a home playoff game. So congratulations to them as well, because it's not an easy feat to win a football game. Many people, you know, we fuss when our team doesn't win, but it's pretty difficult to just win one game, let alone put a whole season or develop a program. You know, and it takes a lot to do that.
You touched on it lightly a second ago, but you guys, this year has been a little streaky for you. You started 2-0, lost 3 in a row, and now you've won 2 in a row again. What did you guys learn from that stretch of 3 straight losses with a bye in the middle that you've helped apply to the past 2 weeks that allow you to be sitting right here as a team of the week?
Well, first and foremost, we've remained healthy. And I think as a coach, you know, like I had kind of mentioned to you earlier, when a player comes in at the beginning of the season, he runs a 4.640. He ends the season at 4.640. What is the difference in that player? It's the difference in how do we get him to eliminate mistakes in the plays that he's running for our football team. And when you have injuries and losses, sometimes you end up changing your schemes. The injuries make you change your players, and then you have a lot of situations where your team can be inconsistent. And I think for us, we're starting to become more consistent because we've been healthy, and it's allowed our team to mature in the positions that they're in. And, you know, hopefully we're getting better each week, and we can, you know, not be a streaky team. We'd like to be more consistent, you know, and we see it right now within games. You know, like we struggled a little bit in the first half against Merryville. Their offensive staff had a lot to do with that. They were really kind of confusing our defense, and once our defense got a hold of what, you know, the parts of their offense we needed to see, we made the adjustments, and we played better in the second half. We can't wait that long as the season winds down. You have to come out in the first quarter and be able to make those adjustments drive to drive. It can't be half to half. And I think that's what we've learned about our team, is that they're growing, they're maturing. We're able to do that because we've been healthy this year.
You mentioned right there, you're trying to apply the first quarter to the second quarter and so on and so forth. Got 2 more games in the regular season before the playoffs get here. What are you hoping to see out of your team over these next 2 weeks before you hopefully get into playoff play? Yeah,
I think what we have to do is we have to become great in the kicking game. We've been doing really good in that. We have to become great in covering kicks. As you get closer to the end of the season, the kick returners become great athletes, and you know, you have to be able to kick the ball well. We have to be able to do onside kicks. We got to be able to recover onside kicks. So those are the little things that are really, really big that can end up a major part of the outcome of these games. You know, you have to have a complete offense, 2-minute drills, screen passes, rollout passes, bootleg passes. You have to have a complete defense, a 2-minute defense. You have to have, you know, a last play defense. We've seen it in the Bears game this Sunday night. I mean, I was at a Mexican restaurant and almost got arrested because of the Hail Mary. But it was a fun time for me and my family. But at the same time, that could happen right in our lap on the last play of the game this week. And so those are things that good teams take care of. They have time to build throughout the season, so you get a chance to cover all that stuff. In single A, it comes up at the end of the season. If you're at a 5A program, it could pop up any game, you know, because those teams are so prepared and so close in the competition. At our level, in the single A bracket, I find it comes up once or twice a year, you know, to where whenever we were at Sulphur, it would come up pretty much every weekend. You know, so those are just different variances of the different classifications, but at the same time, it's just as important. And if you don't cover it, it'll come back and bite you. That's for sure. You guys obviously made the state title game a couple of years ago, hoping to make a run back, but 2 games left in the season. Need a couple things to happen to win a district title, but for you guys, what's kind of the main goal going into the last 2 games and then hopefully the playoffs? Yeah, well, the way the playoffs are setting up right now for us, we're trying to play our best football to win, you know, this week, and really we'll determine what our outlook is once we see the bracket for the playoffs. But our goal is always number 1, to try to get to where we're in the playoffs, and then number 2, improve our seeding every week. So this week is a big game for us. It's a very big game for both teams to help our seeding. So right now, we're not looking ahead like this is the very most important game on our schedule, and because it is this week, but there's a lot of points on the line for both teams to help that bracket setting for the playoffs.
And we talked about it before we got on air. Part of the reason you're sitting here is because of the football you guys have been playing, but another part is the community you guys have at Grand Lake. Just talk about what that support means to you and, of course, your players as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Our community, the Grand Lake football community, has just been overwhelmingly tremendous in my tenure here. This is my 6th year, and I have had nothing but great support. We have families that feed the football team during the week. We have families that help feed the coaches. Anytime we have a fundraiser, we do really, really well. Our whole parish has always been about whatever youth programs are going to try to promote our youth. I can remember it when I was a kid coming up, whether it be 4-H, livestock, or football at South Cameron. But what we're seeing right now at Grand Lake for the amount of support that we have, it puts a smile on my face. No matter what the scoreboard says, I know as a head coach I'm in a great position when I have that Grand Lake on my chest because of the support I have. And it really means a lot to me to go to work, to have a community that I know, hey, wants a good product, and I hope that they understand that me and the boys are doing everything we can to give them a good product. And I think when you put something like this in our community's hands, it's hard to beat Cameron Parish at that point because everybody in Cameron Parish is pulling for that Grand Lake logo on Friday nights, and when it comes to something like this, we're a pretty hard team to beat, and I really want to say thank you to our fans for putting our team in this spotlight. It really means a lot to me, and it'll mean a lot to the boys when they get to see it as well.
And speaking of your players, they clearly feed off that energy because,
oh, absolutely.
I mean, Thursday, and you've played a lot of Thursday night games this year, but Thursday and Friday nights at Grand Lake, you guys are tough to beat, especially at home.
Yeah, our home field advantage, and I had a friend came to the game a couple years ago, and we were a playoff game, and that's when the Horns had just come out, and he called after the game and said, man, y'all have something tremendous going on with those horns in y'all's bleachers. And when you're on the field and you have the headsets, you don't realize the impact of it. And he said, me and my wife were at the game. We couldn't even communicate with each other because it was so loud. And it was an exciting game that night too as well. But and it kind of brings more meaning to our mascot. We are the Hornets, and so we've kind of embraced that part of it. The old logo is the Hornet itself, but we've kind of made it into a second coming of when the game actually starts, we become the Hornets, and man, you hear it throughout the crowd when we do something good, and it really lifts the boys and keeps the place going because those Friday nights are actually these Thursday nights are really special. Down and the stadium will be packed, and it's the way it should be. We have a fan tunnel that they've developed, and man, when we walk into the stadium with the boys, and that energy level, it's as high as anywhere I've ever been, and it's exciting that our fans have built that for us. It's exciting for our kids that hey, they putting in work from January to December. It's a 365 program, and for them to have those 4 or 5 special nights to walk in the stadium and know that the crowd is with them, their families are right there with them. It's really just a special environment for our kids, and we hope that maybe it does give us a little bit of an advantage, on Thursday night. But we'll take it any way we can get it.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you again for joining me. Once again, the Grand Lake Hornets, our Week 8 Team of the Week this week. Coach Wainwright and the Hornets will take on Elton for Week 9.